Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Yaneli, and today we're going to be looking at ILNP's After the Rain collection. Now this collection consists of 6 curly jelly polishes, each having the same flaky shimmering pigments all throughout. As a disclaimer, I did not purchase this collection myself. ILNP was nice enough to send it over as gifted PR. I'm not obligated to post about it, create content, or do anything with it, but I do want to showcase these colors to you in case you are planning on purchasing this collection or some, but just to help you make informed decisions on whether or not these are for you. And with that, let's get into swatches. Up first, we have Raincoat, and this is a burnt orange jelly polish with the subtle hollow in the mix and a orange to green flakes according to the product description. So on the first coat, the application was very easy. The formula is that squishy feeling. It's not thick to where thinner is needed, but there's a little bounce is the best way that I can describe it. Coverage on the first coat was pretty darn good, and especially for it being a jelly base, I was kind of expecting a little bit more streakiness, but there are some streakiness, but it's not as severe as I had imagined it in my mind. Going in with the second coat, I will say that the first coat dried very smooth, even with it having flakies in the mix. Like, I didn't feel any texture or anything when the first coat dried. The second coat provided really good coverage as well, really covered up those streakiness and patchiness that the first coat had. However, because of my indentations, some of the polish does pool in there, making it have a darker spot. But it's not the fault of the formula, it's mainly the way my nails are. So for shits and gigs, essentially, I went ahead and did a third coat just to see how much buildup I can get with it. And with the third coat, I think this is my preferred way of wearing it. I love the multi-dimensional that the flakes provide with each coat and the overall deep color that it provides. Like, what was it? Linnery on Instagram was saying how this is baked beans coated, and I totally agree. I will say that with the flakes, even on the first, second, and third coat, I had a very hard time finding this green shift within the flakies. I'm not sure if it's because of the color of the base that it's covering up that green shift property within the flakes. But yeah, overall, I would definitely wear this in 3 coats, and I'm not super mad that I'm not seeing green. Next up, we have Ginger Snap, and this to me is a mauvey light brown jelly base with the same subtle hollow in there and the same described orange to green flakies. So again, first coat really applied nicely. This is a lighter shade, so it is lighter in the swatch here, and thus kind of giving more of a transparent look to it. The flakies also weren't as evenly distributed in my opinion on the first coat, but the beauty of these curly jelly polishes is the multi-dimensional effect of the flakes or any other glitter element in the mix being sandwiched in between each coat. Again, similar to Raincoat, the first coat dried very smooth, no texture even with the flakes in the mix. I went in with a second coat, and the second coat provided really decent coverage. Like, you could stop at 2 coats, you don't need to go ahead and do a third coat, but for me, I'm very curious on how much it builds up with a third coat, and so that's why I'm doing third coats in every polish coming forth now. And with the third coat, I definitely prefer the color payout of it much more than how it looked in 2 coats. Also, it helps in hiding the dark spots that my nail has, specifically the thumbnail, because of my textured nails. Over smooth nails, I think second coat you wouldn't have too much of an issue. Same thing with the flakies. I'm having a hard time finding like the green shift between them. I'm predominantly seeing this yellow gold to orange shift, not so much of a green to orange or orange to green. Here we have Dark Roast, and this to me is a great toned like hot chocolate brown jelly base with the same dusting of hollow and the orange to green shimmery flakies going throughout. First coat, I was a little surprised at how light and sheer it was, seeing how deep and almost a darkish brown it was in the bottle. And I understand that in the bottle it's more concentrated, but having it applied on the nail on the first coat and kind of seeing that first first impressions was a little taken aback for me, and I almost feared that the second coat wasn't going to do too much, but the second coat did deepen the color, and I really like how the flakies stand out against the darker base with this brown. It's very, I don't know, I just like it a lot. It's giving me that boost of happiness of sorts, if you will. So again, similarly to the other two, my indents create this dark patch, making it seem a little bit patchy compared to those who would have smoother nails. You wouldn't see those technically. And so I go in with a third coat in hopes of that, one, deepening the color, and two, creating more of a dimensional look with the flakies being sandwiched from the previous two coats, and also three, covering up the dark patchiness that my thumbnail provided on the second coat. And again, this is another one that I definitely prefer to wear with three coats. I love that rich brown, and the flakies intertwined with it is so pretty. All of these coats dried very smoothly, even with the flakies. Like, the flakies don't create a texture within these polishes. This was another one that I had a hard time finding the green shift in the flakies. Again, I predominantly saw this gold, yellow to orange shift, but no green, like no distinct green. Moving on to the cool tone colors, we have here Stormwatch, and to me Stormwatch is a slate gray jelly with the same dusting of hollow and these orange to green shifting flakies. So first coat, I kind of knew that with the shade being gray that it would be a lighter gray, and it's definitely visible here in the first coat. But I'm still impressed by the overall coverage of a first coat for such a lighter toned gray. Like, yeah, my indents are creating a pool of sorts in there, but it's not too distracting, I feel. And then when I go in with the second coat, that one provided a deeper color of gray, and the flakies are very prominent, surprisingly, with this gray. I kind of thought they'd be muddled, but no, they're like really distinct still. And in this one, I can see a hint of this very light green amongst the flakes. I predominantly see it at the very edge of my nail, not so much in the middles or anywhere else really, but on the edges of my nail I can see that the green aspect of the orange to green flakes is more visible with Stormwatch. It's not like a stark green, like I said, it's this very light, like super light green. It's almost like, I don't know, like what's the point of advertising it, in my opinion, that it shifts to like orange to green when the green isn't that prominent into this formula, at least for me. I did go in with the third coat because again, I want to see what it looks like, and again, I definitely prefer this polish with a third coat. I'm not a translucent or transparent person. I don't necessarily enjoy seeing my nail line, so for me, more coverage is better. Going into our first blue, we have here Jumping Puddles, and to me this is a slate mid-tone blue jelly with the same dusting of hollow and that orange to green flaky shimmers going throughout. First coat, I kind of fumbled a little bit, got it maybe too heavy on the brush, and so I kind of played around with the application of it, but overall it still had a nice first coat. Again, indentations allow polish to pool in them, so those dark spots are not the polish or formula's fault, it is just the way my nails are. And then I go in with a second coat, and the coat applied just as nice as the first coat. Like, this formula so far of these polishes that we swatched is so easy to work with. Like, I literally turned around and was talking to Evan, and I'm like, I think these are the easiest polishes with flakes that I've ever worked with. Like, yes, the flakes aren't big and aren't like as in your face. They're subtle, they're docile, like it's very cutesy, if you will, but like still, even with the skinny brush, like I didn't have such a hard time applying these polishes. Like, that's how easy I find this formula to work with. So with this one, I did do 3 coats because again, I like my full coverage. I like the color intensity better and everything. And of course the flakies being layered in. So pretty. Again, with this one, similar to Stormwatch, I could see some glimpse of green in the flakies, but it's not as prominent as I would like it. I predominantly saw this yellow to orange more so than this orange to green as they describe. Last but not least, we have drizzle, and this to me is this interesting mix of navy blue but with a hint of green undertones in the mix. I think my camera has a slightly hard time capturing that green tint to it, but it's almost wanting to be this like really deep, rich teal, like dark teal, but it does have those blue elements, so it's kind of one of those wishy-washy colors that is, some people can be like, oh, it's 100% like this dark blue, or no, it's teal, or no, it's more like a dark green with blue. Like, it's one of those colors. Now, on the first coat, I was bamboozled by the amount of coverage I got on that first coat. Like, yes, I understand it's a darker shade, and admittedly it should have better coverage than lighter shades, and it did. It provided me that. And I'm not gonna lie, I specifically saved this polish for last because when I took it out of the polish cartons, I kept staring at this one, and like every time I stared at it, like my heart skipped a beat or some shit. It just makes me so happy. I love these type of dark colors. I love this type of dark blue / dark teal, you know. It's so pretty. And I will say with this one on the second coat, it provided really excellent coverage to the point where I almost hesitated on putting a third coat on, but I wanted to commit and I wanted to do that third coat just again so you can see how much it builds up and get that multi-dimensional look with each flaky. Something about the flakies is I did see green more prominently in this one, and I really think it's because the base itself has this green tint, allowing the jellies to take that green tint to themselves with each coat being layered on top of them. So this is the one to me that presented the most orange to green, but I still saw that yellow golden shimmer flakes in there. Now, I did get lucky and it was a sunny day during the time of me swatching this collection, and so what I did is I separated the collection into threes. On my left hand, I have the warm tone colors, and from pinky to thumb, it is ginger snap, raincoat, ginger snap, dark roast, and ginger snap again. On the right hand, I did the cool tone colors, and for that, from pinky to thumb, I did jumping puddles, storm watch, jumping puddles, drizzle, jumping puddles. So even in the sun, it's kind of hard to really get a glimpse of the green aspect of the flakies in my opinion. And in the sun, you kind of get a better view of the hollow, like I'm saying dusting, like literally a dusting of hollow. Like someone took hollow on their like pointer finger and dipped it in and then just kind of blew on it kind of thing. And then here they are indoors in the shade, and usually this is where you can see the shiftiness of the flakes better, and it's definitely showing up more prominently. And again, in here, not all of them really display that green shift. Like Stormwatch, Jumping Puddles, and definitely Drizzle can occasionally show that like very light green shift in the flakes, but again, it's not as prominent as I would like. Moving on over to comparisons. Up first, we have Raincoat. I have here ILNP's Hidden Path and Mooncat's Nocturne. On the swatch, I would say ILNP's Hidden Path is very close. It's just ever so slightly lighter than ILNP's Raincoat. And Nocturne, I have forgotten that it actually has a black base for its color and that the orange is actually the shimmer. So not exact, but I feel like with ILNP's Hidden Path, you just need flakies. So I took my own advice and added 1 coat of Holo Taco's Solar Unicorn Skin. And the flakies aren't as prominent, like they kind of hide away within the color of Hidden Path. Next up, I have Holo Taco's I'm Over It and Holo Taco's Disco Inferno. Here they are on the swatches, and I'm a little surprised how close Holo Taco's I'm Over It is. It is a like pinky red base, but the shimmer is that burnt orange shimmer, and that's what is more prominent in this polish. And then Holo Taco's Disco Inferno is a frosted metal, meaning there's silver metallic foils there and they're pretty bright. The orange of it, it's not exactly like Raincoat, it's a little lighter for sure. Moving on over to Ginger Snap, and for that I have Holo Taco's Ginger Snatched and Holo Taco's Solo Mission. in. As you can see in the swatches here, Ginger Snatched is more of a light, almost milky, a little bit of red leaning brown, whereas Ginger Snap is more orange leaning, and of course different formula. It's acrylic/jelly, so the coverage there is not as strong as a creme would be. And then Solo Mission is kind of on their own here. It leans a little bit more pink. It also has different type of flakies going throughout, so I wouldn't consider these exacts. Alright, moving on over to Dark Roast. I have here ILNP's Truffle and Hollow Tacos brownie points. I wanted to compare it next to Truffle because theoretically it's considered a brown, but it applies like a black color, so not exact in that department. And then Hollow Tacos brownie points is more of a chocolate brown, like delicious dark chocolate brown. Oh my god, I love that shade so much. But yeah, I think that ILNP's Dark Roast is more subtle, it's more soft, so if that's your vibe, then I recommend ILNP. But otherwise, these are just cremes and truffles is acrylic, so not exacts. So although they're not exacts on their own, I did go in and add 1 coat of Hollow Tacos Solar Unicorn Skin onto Truffle and Hollow Tacos Brownie Points. And they're not exact still, but the flakies kind of elevates it, kind of gets it a little bit closer, so it's almost there. Next up, I wanted to compare it next to Mooncat's Scum and Villainy and Mooncat's Stumped. I chose Scum and Villainy because I thought the shade of brown that it has was slightly similar to what Dark Roast is, because Dark Roast does have a somewhat of a pinky like undertone of sorts, but of course the formulation is very different. And then something with a similar description as Dark Roast is Mooncat's Stumped, which is a brown jelly polish with green and orangey flakes essentially. However, Mooncat's flakes are very prominent, and the shade of brown is more of a red leaning brown, so not exact. Moving on over to Stormwatch, I have here Hollow Tacos Foreshadowed and Hollow Tacos Duct Tape Gray. So I decided to compare it to those two because honestly they're like my only grays that I have, and obviously they're creme polishes, so they're not exacts in that regard, formulation, and of course no flakies. But the beauty of having creme polishes is that you can put a topper on it. So here they are with 1 coat of Hollow Tacos Solar Unicorn Skin, and I don't know, pretty darn close. Again, it's just dependable on what type of finish you want. Do you want the full coverage? Do you want the multidimensional look that a curly jelly provides with the flakes in the mix? But otherwise, not too bad. Of course, the shade of gray is also different, but not bad. Next up, we have Jumping Puddles, and for that one, I have Mooncat's The Sea Between Us and ILNP's Low Rise. So in terms of swatches, I believe I don't have anything like that shade of blue. It's like that almost, it is giving denim, and that's why I grabbed Low Rise because it reminded me of denim. But otherwise, I don't have a polish akin to Jumping Puddles, and these two are very different compared to Jumping Puddles. Next up, we have Drizzle, and for that, I decided to compare it next to Mooncat's Maelstrom and ILNP's Take a Bow. On the swatches, you can see how much darker Drizzle is compared to the other two. The other two are a combination of aquamarine-esque, in my opinion, and Take a Bow is looking more like a teal version of aquamarine, if that makes sense. And then Drizzle is just on its own little league here. It's so different compared to the other two. Next up, I have Hollow Tacos Bring Me the Teal and ILNP's Ritual. So on the swatches, Bring Me the Teal is more of a true teal in my opinion, whereas compared to Drizzle, now this looks more blue leaning than green leaning when it was standalone. Ritual is very close in my opinion to the color of Drizzle. but the formulation is slightly different. Ritual is more of a micro metallic foil of sorts, and of course drizzle is that jelly crelly base with the flakies in there. So I did add 1 coat of Holo Taco's Solar Unicorn skin on both Ritual and Bring Me the Teal, just to see how it compares. Of course, it's very different to when you can layer the flakies and have that extra dimensional look. And lastly, I have here Holo Taco's Shady Navy, and this Solar Unicorn skin is just there to fill up a spot. I'm hoping that with Shady Navy, what I consider to be a true navy blue color, like a deep navy blue color, that you can kind of see the green tint that Drizzle has. I don't know if the camera is capturing it properly, but in person, to me, Drizzle has more of a green tint, almost making it appear a dark teal, whereas Shady Navy, like I said, is that true deep navy blue color for me. And then on the pointer finger there, I just have 1 coat of Solar Unicorn skin to kind of try to replicate the essence of Drizzle, but again, there's something different within flakies being layered with each coat versus just having it on top. And that concludes the swatch and comparison portion of this video. Please let me know any and all your thoughts down below. Will you be getting the entire collection, only some colors, or are you gonna add them to your wish list to wait for a sale? Let me know and we can talk about it. So overall, I really enjoyed this collection as a whole. Like, I've enjoyed every polish in the collection, and I feel like that's so rare. They literally nailed it with the color story, the types of shades in here, and usually I'm anti why are you adding 2 of the same colors in my collection type of person, but like these two, like yeah, they're both technically brown here, but they're so different. And same with these blues. One of them almost looks blackened when you do 2 to 3 coats. The other one's more like this ashy blue, and this one is very almost wanting to be teal. So in my mind, it kind of registers as not actually blue, but like a very dark teal. But I was very surprised that I liked this like red brick baked beans looking color in here. And I really thought I was gonna clash with that one, but looking at it, it's just, I like it. I like it so much. But yeah, I really enjoyed this collection. I created this whole scenario with the colors in this collection. Like the warm tone ones are the fall leaves and the tree stumps getting wet and darkening in color and all that jazz. And then the cool tone here are the skies, the dark hues that come when it's about time to rain, and like as the day progresses and it gets darker, like the darker colors come out. And then for me, the flakies and the subtle hollow is like flickering lights, or the lights gleaming against the rain, the water, the puddles that happen. And it's such a cozy, comfy collection for me. Like, I don't want to take these off. I enjoy them so much on me, and I think they complement my skin tone so well. My only qualm is the green shifting aspect within the flakies. I've had a very hard time finding the green shift. So their description says orange to green, but the fact that I have to scrutinize my nails and the polish so much to try to find a glimpse of this green is almost a little misleading for me. On these warm tones, I didn't find a lick of green whatsoever, and I changed the lightings. I went outside, I went around the house trying to find some shifty greens going around. And then for the blue ones, for me, and I think I said it in the swatch portion of the video, that I feel like the only reason I'm seeing green in the Drizzle polish is because Drizzle itself has a green tint base color, and that coats the flakes, giving it that green tint. For Jumping Puddles, I could see it the lightest, I mean lightest at certain angles, but otherwise it's not prominent. And then for Stormwatch, it was hard to find green in that one too. Like at some angles, I'm like, oh, I see a green, I see a green. But for lack of better words, it's a little annoying that we were giving the description full on saying orange to green, but I'm having to work to find the green aspect. I am having no success with the warm tone colors, and then the cool tone colors is just barely there kind of thing. So that's my main qualm that I have within this collection, because I came in expecting green, like green, not green, you know? So yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that we're not seeing that actual transition or shift within the flakies themselves. But I will say that right now I prefer them having that yellow gold. To me, it gives it more of an autumnal vibe to it, and it just pairs really nicely with them. And one more thing I want to talk about is pricing. ILNP does pre-orders, and you have like a week of pre-ordering, and it's at a discounted price. So the cost of the entire collection during the pre-order is $69. Individually, each polish is $11.50, and this is the price in like USD. After the pre-order, the entire collection is $75, and then individual colors are $12.50 each after the pre-order. If you'd like to see more ILNP swatch videos that I've done, you can click here and I'll take you to a curated playlist. If you want to see other brands or nail art that I've done, you can click here and I'll take you to my profile where you have it at your disposal. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!